Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of the Street Test Program. I am your baby Yizi. Next, I will use a drink filled with 502 glue on the bottle cap to test the male students' prototypes and show those popular men. When Lin Xiao, who is over 2 meters tall, weighs 190 kilograms, has muscles all over his body, and is tattooed with the Nine Dragons Coffin Totem, appears with a fierce and evil spirit, holding a cigar. Help! Help! Big brother, don't come over. Lin Xiao was reborn in 2017, followed by a sudden increase in height, muscle swelling, and the Nine Dragons Coffin Totem tattoo covering his upper body overnight. He looked fierce and evil, like an ancient demon god. The female anchor on the street was conducting a street test program, and when Lin Xiao's massive and ferocious body appeared, it directly scared the female anchor to tears. When I was buying a melon, I asked, "Is this melon ripe?" I was so scared that the melon seller quickly hid the watermelon knife. My daughter was called a parent and scared the teacher to tears on the spot after going to school at the same time. Lin Xiao gained a popularity system, and by increasing his own popularity, he could obtain skill rewards. Therefore, Lin Xiao started live streaming Shui Yuan. Sleeping slot, how many does this anchor eat at a time? Shui 2. Are you sure this is not a special effect made to eliminate the boss? Shui 3. The anchor is so versatile. He can be both literary and martial. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your popularity has reached 1 million. You have obtained the ability to steal heavenly secrets. Lin Xiao. Wait. Water friend, it seems like you have a little green on your head. Shuyu. Book friend group. 8936333014 keywords of the novel. Live streaming. Too fierce looking, starting with a scary cry. Female anchor has no pop-ups. Live streaming. Too fierce looking, starting with a scary cry. Female anchor. TXT complete episode download. Live streaming. Too fierce looking, starting with a scary cry. Female anchor. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Encounter Street Test Program. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Encounter Street Test Program. Parallel World Blue Star, October 2017. Jiangqing City, Chenhua Avenue. The sky is clear for thousands of miles, and the scorching sun is baking the earth. The air is like a steamer, and the people on the street can't help but accelerate their steps. On the recliner in the corner of the street, Lin Xiao, who was over 2 meters tall and weighing 190 kilograms, was lying on it, muscular and enjoying the bright sunshine. He was wearing only a pair of beach shorts all over his body, with a large area of Nine Dragons Coffin Totem tattoo exposed on his upper body. His arms were bulging with veins, and he was paired with a fierce and vicious face. He lay there like an ancient demon god. Lin Xiaojiang has been reborn for a month since 2021. After his rebirth, his body size rapidly expanded from his original height of 1.8 meters to over 2 meters, and his weight also skyrocketed to 190 kilograms, all of which were sturdy muscles. The Nine Dragons Coffin Totem tattoo on his body also covered his entire upper body overnight, terrifying to the extreme. And I don't know if it has a muscle-boosting effect, and his temper has become unusually hot. Damn it, in their novels, even the protagonist's rebirth can obtain a system. Why is my rebirth like this? Lin Xiao couldn't help but let out a loud shout in his heart. My wife and daughter find it difficult to accept that my body has turned into this, especially my wife, who has suffered a lot. Thinking of his recent experiences, Lin Xiao couldn't help but sigh. Suddenly, a noisy sound came from a distance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's live broadcast. I am your little cutie, baby Yizi. Today we are going to do a more exciting street test program, which is to ask a stranger boy to help me open this bottle of drink. And this bottle of beverage is not an ordinary beverage. I applied 502 glue to the bottle cap in advance, and when I saw them unable to open it, I would mock them recklessly and then look at their expressions. Ha ha ha. I think it will be very interesting, old irons, let's wait and see. A sexy, heavily makeup, and seductive woman holding a selfie stick is doing a live broadcast on her phone camera. She is Yizi Baobao, an outdoor anchor on the Huya platform, mainly doing street testing reality shows to attract attention. The so-called street test refers to female anchors teasing passers-by on the street to test their reactions and achieve program effects. And their test subjects will choose some ordinary-looking, honest and dull-looking boys. Because people like them are relatively introverted, they are prone to blushing and stuttering when teased by beautiful female anchors, which makes it easier to produce program effects. And even if the anchor goes too far, they will feel embarrassed to resist. And once they have a slight lack of cooperation, they will be referred to by netizens in the live broadcast room as low emotional intelligence, straight men, ancient people, and ordinary men. At this moment, netizens in the live broadcast room started scrolling barrage. Yizi baby. I'm dressed quite cool today. It's very beautiful. It's my favorite type. Come and test me. I'm in Zhangcheng. I promise you'll never come back. Ha ha ha. Yizi baby. I'll go find you now. Don't leave. I think of a boy who wants to show off his masculinity in front of Yizi baby, but his face turns red when he can't open it, so I want to laugh. Ha ha ha. There's a picture now. As he spoke, a wealthy man in the live broadcast room started scrolling through treasure maps. Yizi Baobao's smile became even brighter as she watched the special effects on the treasure map appear. Thank you, Brother Huizi, for sending me the treasure map. I love you so much. Okay. We'll start testing now, let's go. After speaking, Yizi baby put away the selfie stick, hung her phone around her neck, adjusted it to the rear camera for shooting, and adjusted the angle. This can ensure the concealment of the shooting, allowing the most authentic reactions of the test subjects to be displayed, thereby achieving better program effects. As he spoke, a college student with a very thin and frail figure walked over from a distance. With a bag of mantu in his hand, he walked with his head down and looked at the ground all the time. He walked very fast and didn't want to stay outside much. Old Ties, the target character has appeared. Let me test him later. Yizi Baobao became excited when she saw this boy and said in an excited voice. Based on her multiple experiences, this boy is simply the best candidate for testing. At first glance, he is a very introverted and shy boy, and he is definitely capable of producing program results. Then Yizi Baobao no longer hesitated and walked straight towards the boy. After walking over, Yizi Baobao directly blocked her body in front of him. The boy looked up at Yizi. With such close contact, he could even smell the fragrance on her body. His face immediately turned red, and his gaze shrank back like an electric shock. He then wanted to quickly avoid her and walk over. But Yizi took another step and continued to block in front of him. Hello handsome guy, can you help me? Yizi baby spoke to the boy in a coquettish voice and then cast a big seductive eye. Sleeping slot. The sound is absolutely amazing. I can't help but listen to it. This little gaze is so pitiful, baby Yizi. How can I get you? Don't look calm on the surface, this guy probably can't handle it in his heart anymore. The netizens in the live broadcast room were instantly excited to discuss. The boy's expression suddenly became anxious, his eyes dodged, and his face turned red. Yizi Baobao peeked at him and couldn't help but mock him. Humph, dressed in cheap street vendors, he looks like a poor loser. On the surface, it still appears calm and peaceful, but in fact, my heart has already been surging. I must be facing my beauty YY. Alas, if it weren't for the show's effectiveness, this kind of loser wouldn't even take a second glance at it on his own. What are you busy with? Help me open this bottle of beverage, they don't have the strength to open it. Yizi baby stared at the boy and said coquettishly. Oh, good. After a pause, the boy quickly nodded wooden and then took the drink from Yizi baby's hand. He thought he could easily unscrew it, but when he exerted all his strength, he found that the bottle cap remained motionless. This made his face turn red and he twisted the cap hard. Ah! No way, handsome guy. You're such a big man, you can't even twist a bottle cap. Yizi Bao Bao suppressed a smile and pretended to ask when she saw the effect she wanted. The boy's face couldn't help but turn even redder. He continued to exert all his strength to twist the bottle cap, but it still had no effect. Well. Why is this bottle cap so difficult to unscrew? The boy muttered while continuing to use his strength to twist. The netizens in the live broadcast room suddenly became happy. Haha. This guy is quite practical. He really exhausted all his strength, his whole body was trembling. I guess this guy now feels like he's dead in society. He can't even unscrew a bottle cap in front of a pretty girl. You've bullied someone's honest child, but I like it, haha. Ha ha ha. New book set sale, stable updates, begging for the support of all the big shots. Thank you. Book Friend Group. 893633014, end of this chapter. Chapter 2. Scared the female anchor to cry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Scared the female anchor to cry. Yizi Bao Bao saw that her plan had succeeded, and without any hesitation, she covered her mouth and burst out laughing. With this smile, the boy was immediately stunned, so he stopped his movements and stared blankly at Yizi baby. Yizi Bao Bao smiled and picked up the phone hanging on her chest, shaking it at the boy and saying, Sorry, I'm doing a live broadcast and I've applied glue to the cap of this beverage bottle. I'm doing this to test your reaction. A few seconds later, the boy realized that he had been fooled, so he pointed to Yizi Bao Bao's phone and asked tentatively. Are you doing a live broadcast? Many people were watching me just now. Yeah, there are tens of thousands of people in my live broadcast room. Yizi Bao Bao proudly said to him. After the boy realized that he was being treated as a clown, his face suddenly turned blue and white, and he slowly lowered his head. Please step aside, I have something else to do. The boy lowered his head and said in a deep voice, then pushed away Yizi Bao Bao to move forward. The netizens in the live broadcast room saw this effect and the barrage immediately exploded. Haha. I laughed so hard just now, this boy's face turned red as he tried to hold it back. He now has a cute expression on his face when he learns the truth, it's so funny. Look at him, he seems really angry. I won't be autistic, right? I was just being watched by so many people and made a fool of myself. If I can't say it right, there will be psychological shadows, What kind of psychological shadow, dare not approach women? After a lively discussion, many netizens even started browsing GIFs in the live broadcast room. Yizi Bao Bao was even more enthusiastic when she saw the good feedback from netizens in the live broadcast room. How could she be so easy to let him go? So she took a step to the left and stood in front of the boy, staring at him and saying, I can't open this drink, but I'm thirsty now. Can you treat me to a cup of milk tea? You, a man, wouldn't be so stingy that you wouldn't even want to invite me to milk tea. After Yizi finished speaking, the barrage in the live broadcast room exploded again. Sleeping trough. Yizi baby, if you can ask this kid to buy you milk tea, I will immediately draw a treasure map for you. Believe in your charm, baby Yizi. This guy said he doesn't want to talk to you. This boy seems to be a common man, and even though he's the only one who can be approached by Yizi Bao Bao, he still likes to ignore him. That's it. I don't know where my confidence comes from. I don't even look in the mirror to see what I look like. A large number of bullet comments burst out in the live broadcast room in an instant. Sorry, I have something else to do. The boy finished speaking coldly and walked straight forward. Yi felt a little annoyed when she saw this honest boy giving him so little face. You stinky loser. I gave you face, didn't I? If it weren't for the effectiveness of the program, I wouldn't bother to talk to you. Don't even lick a dog like you. Yizi Baobao didn't even take the boy's unhappy emotions seriously. In her eyes, this boy was just a fool for herself and the netizens in the live broadcast room to have fun with. So she blocked it again, and when the boy walked left, she turned left, and when he walked right, she turned right. Can you step aside? I really have something to do. The boy raised his head and looked anxiously at Yi. No, you can't leave without buying me milk tea. Yizi Baobao hugged her shoulders with both hands and looked at him arrogantly, saying. I'll help you unscrew the bottle cap. Suddenly, a thick voice came from behind. Yizi baby couldn't help but snort coldly, thinking to herself that the licking dog had come knocking on her door. So she turned her head disdainfully, wanting to see what this licking dog looked like. But as soon as I turned around, I was startled and couldn't help but exclaim, ah. I saw a giant muscular behemoth standing in front of me, adorned with terrifying totems and paired with a fierce and villainous face. After thinking about it, Lin Xiao regained his senses and stared coldly at Yizi baby. When Yizi Baobao saw him, her face turned pale with fear, and her phone almost fell to the ground. After seeing Lin Xiao, the boy couldn't help but shudder and quickly took the opportunity to escape, leaving only Yizi Baobao standing in front of Lin Xiao in a daze. In front of Lin Xiao, she was like a little lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Ding! Congratulations to the host. The popularity system has been successfully bound. By increasing their popularity, the host can obtain various skill rewards. Host's current popularity value. 0. If your popularity reaches 1000, you can receive rewards for the next stage lying trough. Can this system read minds? I just wrote that there is no system, so it came. Popularity system. Accumulate popularity to earn rewards. What do you mean, how does this thing work? Lin Xiao saw 0/1000 displayed in the upper right corner of his line of sight. Forget it, go back and study slowly. After thinking about it, Lin Xiao regained his senses and stared coldly at Yizi baby. What are you doing? Are you asking for money? I'll give you everything. Yizi baby couldn't help but feel the fear in her heart. Tears streamed down uncontrollably, and her legs trembled unconsciously. If it weren't for so many netizens watching in the live broadcast room, she would have been so scared that she would have collapsed on the ground. The netizens in the live broadcast room were also frightened by this sudden scene, some even couldn't sit firmly in front of the computer and fell off their chairs in fear. More than 10 seconds later, the barrage was released. Lying down. I'm scared to death. What's going on here? Is this the program effect arranged by Yizi baby? Yizi baby, please let us know in advance if we arrange this kind of process again next time, otherwise our heart won't be able to handle it. Did Yizi baby really encounter a robbery? How tall is this person? E is like a little kitten in front of him. This is a giant. And it looks so scary, it's like a demon running out of hell. This. Is it certain that it's not a program effect? It's not just a mix of people. Isn't this just a way to eliminate bullying? Yes, eliminate the tyrant. It's too scary. Just now, I was scared and paralyzed across the screen. How could there be such a person? It's like a demon reincarnation. Lin Xiao stared coldly at her and said in a deep voice. No money, I'll help you open the bottle cap. After speaking, Lin Xiao reached out to her with his iron pliers-like hand, his arm tattooed with totems and his veins bulging. Yizi shuddered as she peeked at his heart-stopping arm, feeling even more frightened. She quickly waved her hand and said in a trembling voice. Ah. No need. No need. I can drive it myself. Lin Xiao stared at her tightly without speaking. He took out a cigar from his pocket, put it in his mouth, and then took out a black pistol from his pocket. Ah! Don't kill me. I'll give it to you. I'll give it all to you. Yizi baby screamed in fright and quickly handed the drink to Lin Xiao's hand. The netizens in the live broadcast room were even too scared to come out. After all, such an image of a demon, with a gun in his hand. Where did a murderer escape from? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Get Popularity System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Get Popularity System. Yizi baby, let's help you BJ. Don't be afraid, stabilize him first. Sleeping slot. This is a fugitive. Surprisingly, it happened to be bumped into by Yizi Baobao. If he covets your beauty, if not, you should follow him. It's important to save your life. Yeah, it's too scary. Barracks were fired one after another. Lin Xiao aimed his gun at his cigar. Pop. Lin Xiao pulled the trigger and a blue flame erupted from the muzzle of the pistol, igniting the cigar. After a brief pause, Yizi baby finally breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out to be a lighter. Lin Xiao put the lighter into his pocket, reached out to take the bottle of Yizi baby's drink, and held it in his hand as if holding a bottle of oral liquid. He held the body of the beverage bottle in his palm, and with a gentle force, the bottle burst open instantly, and the liquid inside splashed out fiercely. Directly sprayed onto Yi's face and clothes. Ah! Yi screamed in fear and quickly tidied up her hair and wet dress with her hands. Isn't it fun to tease others? So how do you feel when I tease you like this? Lin Xiao casually threw the beverage bottle into the trash can 10 meters away, staring at Yi and saying. Do you and these people in your live broadcast room play pranks on honest people just to satisfy your vulgar tastes? Isn't an honest person human? Let you play tricks like this. Speaking, Lin Xiao turned his gaze back to the camera. The netizen in front of the computer screen was caught by Lin Xiao's gaze, and he felt a chill in his heart across the screen. It's not that they are cowardly, but Lin Xiao's gaze combined with his terrifying appearance and figure is simply the one who destroys the tyrant himself. Don't let me see you guys doing things like making fun of others and attracting attention again in the future, do you hear me? Lin Xiao glared angrily at Yi and said coldly. Yizi Baobao wiped away the tears that came from crying in fear on her face, nodded repeatedly, and dared not look directly into Lin Xiao's eyes. Got it. Got it, I won't do this kind of thing again in the future. Lin Xiao snorted coldly, extinguished his cigar with his hand, turned around, and walked step by step towards his motorcycle. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have gained 37 popularity points. This popularity value should have been caused by the onlookers present. Just a lot less than the first target of 1000. Stubborn. A burst of throttle sound and the motorcycle swept away. Yizi baby couldn't help but sit on the ground and burst into tears. At this time, the number of viewers in Yizi baby's live broadcast room skyrocketed to over 200,000, and the news of a fierce man appearing in Yizi baby's live broadcast room like a tyrant has already spread throughout the platform. Some water enthusiasts who came to watch the excitement upon hearing the news directly mocked Yizi Baobao upon seeing this situation, while some loyal fans kept sending barrage comments to comfort her. While water enthusiasts were frantically firing barrage shots, a warning message from the super tube came out, which was particularly eye-catching. The anchor is suspected of promoting negative social norms and is now imposing a 3-day ban on the live broadcast room. Subsequently, the live broadcast room instantly turned black. What? Was it banned? No way. It should be the reason for maliciously tricking passers-by. Lin Xiao rode his motorcycle back to his own residential area. His family lived in a newly built ordinary residential area, with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, covering an area of over 90 square meters. At this time in his previous life, he and his wife had just bought a house here for not long, and they had to pay over 5,000 yuan in monthly mortgage payments. And Lin Xiao works in a small company, earning a monthly salary of over 6,000 yuan. But after being reborn this time, Lin Xiao's body turned into this, and it was not convenient to talk to clients anymore, so he decided to resign from his job. This also makes the previously less affluent days even worse. Entering the house, my wife Qin Xiaoya and daughter Chu Chu have not returned yet. So after Lin Xiao changed his slippers, he quickly took out some vegetables, eggs, and a fish from the refrigerator and tidied them up. Lin Xiao stood in front of the chopping board with a broad figure, cutting the vegetables quickly with a knife. Holding the iron pot and flipping the spoon in his hand was more like holding a toy. If someone else sees this scene, they will definitely be stunned, because it is too contrary. Who would have thought that such a ferocious and fierce-looking man could cook in the kitchen, like a good man at home? Half an hour later, his wife Qin Xiaoya and daughter Lin Chu Chu walked in from the door, and Lin Xiao had already cooked several dishes. "Wife, Chu Chu, you can sit on the sofa and watch TV for a while. There are only 2 more dishes left." Lin Xiao turned his head and said to the 2 of them while stir-frying. "Wow! Dad is so great. He even made my favorite braised fish." After carefully changing his shoes, he ran to the dining table and drooled as he watched the fragrant braised fish on the plate. "I knew Chu Chu loved to eat, so I made it specifically for you." Lin Xiao grinned and said with a smile. He looked back at his wife who was much younger than his previous life, as well as his daughter who was in elementary school, feeling particularly warm. In his past life, due to the immense pressure of life, his wife Qin Xiaoya's beautiful face had already grown wrinkles in her early 30s. Lin Xiao felt deeply guilty about this. "Chu Chu, how many times have I told you to wash your hands first after going home?" Qin Xiaoya changed her shoes and looked at Chu Chu, saying, "Oh, I got it." After finishing speaking clearly, he jumped and ran into the bathroom. Qin Xiaoya put on an apron and walked over to Lin Xiao's side to help him wash the dishes. "Wife, you don't have to worry, just sit there and the meal will be ready soon." "Husband, the mortgage is due in 2 more days, and you don't have any salary this month. I can only use the money I saved before to advance it." Qin Xiaoya brushed the dishes with a somewhat lonely expression. After listening for a moment, Lin Xiao nodded and said, "Oh, okay. Then you can use the money to cover it first. What are you planning to do next? Not working like this is not a solution." Qin Xiaoya hesitated to speak. Although her expression was calm, Lin Xiao could also see that she truly felt the pressure. "Don't worry about this, I will find a way to make you and Chu Chu live a good life." Lin Xiao wiped his hands clean and placed them on Qin Xiaoya's shoulder, watching her say, "With this popularity system and my past life experience, I'm afraid I won't be able to live a good life." Qin Xiaoya's gaze dodged to one side and nodded, Although she felt that her thoughts had changed a bit since Lin Xiao's body changed, she was still very worried. After all, success is not so easy. Too many men's promises are just empty promises that can never be fulfilled, despite their best efforts. "Alright, wife, the food is cooked. Let's call Chu Chu to come and have a meal." Lin Xiaoqiang squeezed out a smile that still looked fierce. Qin Xiaoya regained her senses and gave Lin Xiao a smile before turning her head and shouting, "Chu Chu, come over for dinner. Here we go." Chu Chu agreed and walked over from the room with his phone in hand. "Mom, do you think this person is Dad?" The delicate and tender little hand held the phone and raised it towards Qin Xiaoya. "Dad. Bring it to me for a look." Qin Xiaoya took the phone from Chu Chu's hand and opened the Douyin interface. And the video shows a man with a huge figure and a fierce spirit, pulling out a black gun and standing opposite him, a beautiful woman whose face has turned pale from fear. After looking for a few seconds, Chen Xiaoya's eyes suddenly showed disbelief and she quickly turned to shout at Lin Xiao. Husband! Take a look, is this person you? How did you get photographed? Lin Xiao looked at Chen Xiaoya in confusion as he untied his apron and walked towards this side. What? I was photographed. Where is it? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Join Douyin and start live streaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Join Douyin and start live streaming. Speaking, Lin Xiao walked up to his phone, looked inside, and suddenly understood. This is when I was scaring the female anchor just now. The screen was recorded by netizens in the live broadcast room, and then posted on the Douyin short video. Oh, this is something I just saw on the road and scared a female anchor, but unexpectedly someone posted it. Lin Xiao quickly explained to Chen Xiaoya, afraid that she might think she had done something wrong again. Why do you mess with female anchors when you have nothing to do? Chen Xiaoya glanced sideways at Lin Xiao and then stared at the screen in surprise, saying, Wow! Look at this amount of likes, it's already over 100,000. How long did it take to post it? And then there are over 1,000 comments. Oh my goodness, you're going to be so popular. At this point, Douyin has just emerged, and the daily activity of blockbusters has already exceeded 100 million. There are also strong competitors such as Yenshan Video and Donghua Video, so having this data for a video in Douyin is already quite good. Lin Xiao stared at the screen and said in confusion. Oh. There are still comments. What did they say? After he finished speaking, he clicked on the comment icon, and the comments posted by netizens were displayed. My goodness, which movie's filming scene is this? The special effects are too realistic, aren't they? The Women's Federation's elimination of dominance and competition for beauty beverages. Dear netizens, didn't the title say that this is not making a movie, it's the truth? Is this certain that this is a real person? Lin Xiao looked at these comments with a helpless smile and shook his head, then put away his phone and said. Alright, let's forget about them. Let's have dinner. After speaking, he put his chopsticks on the table and then called on Chen Xiaoya and Chu Chu to sit down and eat. Chu Chu, eat more fish. Eating fish can make you smarter, and you will definitely get a double 100 in the next exam. Lin Xiao doted on a piece of fish and put it into a delicate bowl. Chu Chu's little mouth was covered in oil, and while chewing, he said. Well, Chu Chu is the smartest. Wife, you also eat fish. Lin Xiao also put a piece of fish into Chen Xiaoya's bowl. The family sat warmly at the dinner table, enjoying themselves. After dinner, Lin Xiao asked Chen Xiaoya to accompany Chu Chu to do his homework while he was washing dishes himself. His mind kept reminiscing about the recent Douyin video. Lin Xiao is very clear that in the next 4 years, the internet will develop rapidly, and Douyin will also develop vigorously, occupying the fragmented time of users and monopolizing half of the internet. So as a newcomer, Lin Xiao is very clear that in the future, Douyin will have huge traffic hidden and will be a big wind mouth. Many grassroots internet celebrities changed their fate overnight and have millions of fans. Even many celebrities have entered the stage one after another, putting down their bodies to compete with major internet celebrities, which shows the huge benefits involved. Moreover, one's own popularity system requires gaining popularity in order to receive rewards, and becoming an internet celebrity for live streaming is undoubtedly the fastest way to gain popularity. So, Lin Xiao decided to use Douyin as a breakthrough point, open up his own live streaming path, and join Douyin. Do whatever you say. After finishing washing dishes, Lin Xiao sat on the sofa and picked up his phone. He decisively registered a Douyin account and named it, I'm Not a Big Villain. Subsequently, Lin Xiao found the short video he had posted by someone else and edited a video he had taken later to prove that he was himself. After editing, I posted this short video. After finishing all of this, Lin Xiao walked into the bedroom. "Wife, I'm here." "Chen Xiaoyao. You." The next morning, the first thing Lin Xiao did when he woke up was to take out his phone and quickly open Douyin to check the effect of the video he posted last night. After seeing it, Lin Xiao couldn't help but feel happy in his heart. Because his video has surpassed the one posted by others, reaching 200,000 likes and over 2,000 comments. Lin Xiao quickly opened the comment and read it. "Oh my goodness. Is this really me? Definitely, isn't there a video with proof of selfie later on? Is it certain that this was not done with special effects? Sleeping trough. The tattoo on his body is so terrifying. Is it the Nine Dragons Coffin pulling? What exactly is this person from? Are they from some mysterious organization? Big brother, when will you start a live broadcast and show us? Yeah. This is even more curious than the silver-backed gorilla in the zoo, hahaha. Upstairs, be careful if he sees you and beats you up. Brothers, all the dead muscles on his body are stimulated by eating protein powder. I can beat 10 of them. If he confronts me for less than one turn, he will have to kneel on the ground and beg me. Don't die." Lin Xiao couldn't help but laugh with satisfaction as he watched the comments one by one. It seems that these netizens have a quite novel image of themselves. If they really open a live broadcast, the popularity of the live broadcast room should not be low. The live streaming function of Douyin platform has just been open for a short time, and opening a live stream requires 30,000 fans to have permission. And Lin Xiao directly gained nearly 50,000 fans through yesterday's short video. So he prepared breakfast for the two of them, and after they left, Lin Xiao walked out of the house with his phone in hand. Arriving on the street, Lin Xiao directly turned on Douyin and started the live broadcast. After the live broadcast started, some people also entered the live room one after another. These people followed Lin Xiao's account through that short video, and then clicked in when they saw his live broadcast, wanting to explore whether his video was actually made with special effects. However, the number of people is not very large, and there are only over 100 people. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. It's actually real, this is really me. Damn it. Did you start a live broadcast to eliminate the boss? Are you going to grab the energy gems during the live broadcast? As soon as I walked in, I saw this face that couldn't have been shot 100 times, it scared me to death. Me too, I was so scared that my hand shook and I almost threw my phone out. I believe this guy has killed anyone. Netizens who came in launched barrage comments one after another. Subsequently, the super management also entered the live broadcast room and issued a warning message. No one in the live broadcast room is allowed to post pornographic, vulgar, insulting, abusive, garbage advertising, spreading rumors, etc. The anchor is also not allowed to live broadcast content that violates any social morality, ensuring a good atmosphere in the live broadcast room. After the super manager left the live broadcast room after sending a message, Lin Xiao's face appeared before his eyes, and he couldn't help but feel some lingering fear. I have never encountered such a ferocious anchor during the rounds. Lin Xiao looked at the barrage on the screen and smiled at the camera on his phone, but this smile. It really made his scalp tingle. Hello brothers, welcome to my live broadcast. Lin Xiao greeted the netizens in the live broadcast room with unfamiliarity. In his previous life, he often used TikTok to watch the live broadcast. He also knew some of the commonly used scripts, but he had never had a live broadcast, so he was not very familiar with them. Hello Anchor, how many children do you have for a meal? Anchor, was this tattoo painted on you? Where did you buy this clothes in such a large size? They're almost bursting. Netizens saw that Lin Xiao had spoken, so they all started to barrage and interact. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Is this melon ripe? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Is this melon ripe? Lin Xiao looked at these barrage comments and didn't know how to answer them. He simply avoided these questions and said to the camera. Brothers, I just arrived at Douyin platform for live streaming. First of all, thank you very much for your support. Then I am a positive and proactive anchor. So, let's take a walk on the road first, see if there is anything we can do to show our bravery and uphold justice, and do justice for the heavens. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room suddenly eased. Water enthusiasts had a hint of fear when they saw Lin Xiao's fierce image. But after hearing him say these words, I realized that he might not be as terrifying as his appearance, so I launched barrage shots one after another. Anchor, I can rest assured of what you say. I was afraid you were a big villain and wanted to retaliate against society. However, Anchor, there is a saying that I don't know if it's appropriate to say. I feel like you're making a contribution to society by leaving your home less often. Yes. You look really scary, Anchor. My son just glanced at you and was so scared that he cried out loud. Ha ha ha. That's how I feel too. If I run into you on the street, I'll definitely be scared and die on the spot. Lin Xiao looked at the barrage for a while, couldn't help but shake his head, and then shouted boldly. Alright, brothers, let's stop talking nonsense. Let's go. Let's go straight. Sleeping slot. The anchor is bold and straightforward. It's just dry. But Anchor, you need to take it easy. If you touch someone with your body shape, they probably won't be able to bear it. One punch, one little cannon. Get up. So Lin Xiao took his phone and started streaming on the street. In the blink of an eye, more than half an hour passed. Lin Xiao turned several streets, but did not encounter anything that could bring justice. Instead, others saw him and wished to rush forward to see him, but he lacked the courage. Walking to a shady place, Lin Xiao wiped the sweat off his forehead, looked around, and said to the camera. It seems that our social security is really good. There is no disharmony at all. Forget it, there's a melon stall over there. Let's go buy a watermelon to quench our thirst first. The weather is really hot. Lin Xiao saw a watermelon stall diagonally across the street, so he finished speaking and walked towards it. Wait. Brothers, something's wrong. 5 or 6 meters away from the booth, Lin Xiao suddenly stopped and shouted to the camera. The water enthusiasts in front of the screen stared at him in confusion, not knowing what was going on. Brothers, this boss uses a remote-controlled electronic scale that can remotely adjust the displayed weight of the scale. Just look at his left hand that has been stuck in his pocket. The reason why Lin Xiao is so sure is that when he was in high school, he followed his grandmother to sell vegetables. An uncle of the stall next door used this remote-control electronic scale, and his small actions were exactly the same as the melon seller. The netizens in the live broadcast room held a skeptical attitude. I don't know, do I? I shouldn't have done it like this. Putting your hand in your pocket doesn't necessarily mean you're using the remote control. What if it's something indescribable? Are you a devil upstairs? It's possible. Ha ha. I'm laughing to death. Lin Xiao looked at the barrage of questioning in the live broadcast room and couldn't help but snort coldly, saying. You're still too young. You don't understand the dangers of society. Let's go. I'll go meet him, and you'll know in a while. After finishing speaking, Lin Xiao walked briskly towards the watermelon stall. Sister, this melon weighs 8 pounds and costs 32 yuan. The owner of the watermelon stall is a sturdy man in his 30s, with a face full of flesh and many pockmarks. This melon looks small, but I didn't expect it to be quite heavy. The big sister who bought melons took money from her pocket and smiled as she said. That's right, this melon was brought from the border and has plenty of water. The boss spoke to her in a hoarse voice. Here, 40 yuan. Okay, I'll give you 8 yuan. The boss smiled and took the money, then gave her change from his bag. "Boss, is this melon ripe?" While the boss was changing money, a thick voice suddenly rang in his ear. The boss was busy and anxious, so he didn't look back and spat on his hand, saying disdainfully while counting money. "I sell melons, can I sell you raw melons and eggs? May I ask if this melon is still ripe?" Lin Xiao strengthened his tone and asked again. "Sleeping trough, who doesn't have eyes? Dare to come here and cause trouble?" The boss cursed inwardly, frowned impatiently, turned his head, and cursed in his mouth. "Are you stepping on a horse to cause trouble? Don't even see if this is." When the boss turned his head and saw the ferocious Lin Xiao, he trembled with fear and swallowed the latter half of the sentence. With a beast-like height, explosive muscles, and a terrifying tattoo on the upper body, and a fierce appearance, which big shot ran out of it. "Hey, big brother, bow. Bow Shu. Don't worry, I'll choose a good one for you, hee. The boss quickly changed the conversation and looked up at Lin Xiao with a smiling face. Then, with his right hand, he quickly secretly placed the watermelon knife on the table below. Haha. The boss's attitude has changed so quickly. The action details of the hidden watermelon knife, ha ha ha. The boss is also forced and helpless, The anchor just asked if it was cooked, which scared me to the point of sweating. Me too, I got goosebumps all over. Don't worry about choosing. Did you say that the melon you just sold to this lady weighed 8 pounds? Lin Xiao squinted his eyes and pointed to the watermelon that the elder sister had just put into the red plastic bag. The elder sister saw Lin Xiao pointing at his watermelon and stopped her movements in confusion, staring at him blankly. Of course I do, big brother. What are you talking about? The melon seller's face tightened and he spoke firmly. Of course there is, right? Alright, big sister, don't rush to take this melon for now, give it to me for use. After finishing speaking, Lin Xiao directly reached out to grab the watermelon in the elder sister's hand. This elder sister was already stunned by Lin Xiao's image of annihilating the tyrant, and she naturally didn't dare to stop Lin Xiao from coming to pick up the melon. At the moment when Lin Xiao grabbed the bag, her hand shrank back like an electric shock, afraid to make more contact with Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao took the watermelon and walked straight to the nearby apple stall. The owner of the apple stand is a thin middle-aged man. He just saw a quarrel here and understood what was going on. As Lin Xiao walked towards him, he suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. Because the owner of the watermelon stall had already instructed several nearby vendors not to lend scales to his customers to weigh watermelons, otherwise he would be impolite. Judging from Lin Xiao's current situation, if he doesn't use it for him, he might as well lift up his stall. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Doesn't say it's a car remote control, does it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 doesn't say it's a car remote control, does it? Lin Xiao walked up to the apple stand, and the owner of the watermelon stand and the big sister who bought melons followed closely. Boss, can I borrow your scale? Lin Xiao stood in front of the apple vendor and pointed to the scale behind him, saying. Ah. This. The owner of the apple stall hesitated and didn't know how to answer. The watermelon stall owner standing behind Lin Xiao kept winking at him, gesturing not to lend it to Lin Xiao. What's going on? Is there any difficulty? Lin Xiao stared tightly at the owner of the apple stand with a pair of eyes, not angry but confident. An instant cold sweat broke out on the head of the apple vendor, and the large muscles and terrifying tattoos on Lin Xiao's body constantly pounded his soul. No problem, here you are. After thinking for a few seconds, the apple vendor gritted his teeth and handed the electronic scale behind him to Lin Xiao. In just a few seconds, his brain quickly weighed the pros and cons and lent him the scale, which may make the melon seller resent him. But if you don't borrow it, you will definitely provoke the fierce and ferocious man in front of you, and you will have to deal with yourself on the spot. Compared to the two, the owner of the watermelon stall is nothing in front of this muscular man, just like a kitten compared to a fierce beast. So lending the scale to this fierce man is a wise move. Lin Xiao expressionlessly took the scale, pressed the reset button, and then put the watermelon on it. Hey! Wait a minute. The watermelon stall owner saw that Lin Xiao really wanted to put the watermelon on, so he quickly grabbed Lin Xiao's arm holding the watermelon with one hand, but his hand couldn't even grab half of Lin Xiao's arm. Lin Xiao glanced at him sideways and frowned, saying, "What's wrong? Do you have any questions?" "No, big brother, what are you doing? Didn't this watermelon have already been weighed just now? There's no need to put it on the scale again, right?" The boss looked a bit anxious and stared closely at Lin Xiao, saying, "It's necessary, change the scale and weigh it to see if it's really 8 pounds. Hey, big brother, don't forget it. I'll pick a good melon for you, don't call it any more. It's such a waste of time on such a hot day." The boss was so anxious that he almost burst into tears. Lin Xiao ignored him and directly put the melon on. The boss saw that the situation was about to be exposed, so he didn't care much anymore. He grabbed the watermelon that Lin Xiao had just put on and threw it to the ground, trying to destroy the evidence. Lin Xiao's reaction was faster. As soon as the boss's hand touched the watermelon, Lin Xiao quickly placed his phone aside, holding down the watermelon with one hand and lifting the boss up with the other. "What are you doing?" Lin Xiao picked up his phone and stared at the boss fiercely, his facial expression extremely fierce. "Oh, big brother, you. Just spare me. Don't make it difficult for me." The boss lowered his head to look at his dangling legs, and then at Lin Xiao's fierce face at such a close range, so frightened that he couldn't speak fluently. "I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming your behavior." After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he put the watermelon on the scale. Dee. 2 seconds later, the electronic scale rang, and after the data froze, it displayed 3.06 kilograms, which is just over 6 pounds. Lin Xiao aimed the camera of his phone at the display screen of the electronic scale. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room were stunned. Sleeping trough. It really weighs less than 8 pounds. That melon seller's scale is indeed problematic. I really can't tell. Society is very simple, it's people who are complex. When I think about it, I must have been tricked by someone before when I bought melons. I wonder why sometimes watermelons may look small but very heavy. The anchor can't help but notice at a glance, it's really amazing. Not only the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room, but also the big sister who bought melons was stunned. This watermelon is actually 2 pounds short, but only 8 yuan short. Okay, how dare you pit me? The melon buying lady became angry and embarrassed, and rushed forward to grab the melon seller. At this moment, some onlookers had already gathered around, pointing at the melon seller. The melon seller couldn't force himself when he saw so many people watching, so he had to grit his head and argue cunningly. His electronic scale is malfunctioning. It's broken and hasn't been repaired yet. If you don't believe me, ask him, is it Xiao Qin? After speaking, he turned his gaze to the apple seller and gave him a hard squeeze. The apple seller looked at him stuttering and unable to speak. "Humph, do you still want to cheat even now?" Lin Xiao let out a cold snort, put him down, and then forcefully pulled his right hand towards the left pocket of his pants. "Hey! What are you doing?" The melon seller became anxious when he saw that Lin Xiao was about to come and take out his pocket. He quickly covered it with his hand, trying to stop Lin Xiao. But he couldn't stop Lin Xiao's muscular arm. Lin Xiao grabbed it fiercely and took out a black object directly from his pocket. This black thing is truly a remote control. What is this? What else do you have to say? You wouldn't say it's your car's remote control, would you? Lin Xiao raised the remote control in his hand and sternly asked him. This. The melon seller's face was extremely ugly, staring at Lin Xiao and unable to speak. He originally intended to say that this was a car remote control, but Lin Xiao had just said that and he couldn't say it himself. This person is so ungrateful, he actually uses a remote-controlled scale. It seems he's a habitual offender. I won't buy watermelons at his house again in the future. I don't know how much he tricked me before. He also values others' preferences. For those who don't often buy melons, he will use a remote control to adjust the weight. It's so bad. You scumbag. The onlookers began to blame him one after another. Give me my money back. Selling a melon would be a pit for money. Are you still a human? I'm sorry. The big sister who just bought melons rushed up and grabbed his clothes, spitting at him in disgust. The melon seller allowed her to insult her and dared not fight back. After all, so many people were emotionally excited around him, let alone Lin Xiao, who was a demon beside him. Everyone, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I haven't done this thing a few times, it's my first offense, so please forgive me. Since hard work doesn't work, the melon seller has no choice but to accept the soft offer and actively admit their mistake. After speaking, he took out the 40 yuan that the melon lady had just given him from his pocket and handed it to her. Sister, I'll give you the money back, and I'll also give you this melon. I'm really sorry. I promise I won't do this kind of thing again in the future. After speaking, he looked at Lin Xiao with questioning eyes, wanting to see what he meant. Lin Xiao raised his phone in his hand and said in a deep voice. Let me tell you, I am a positive energy anchor on Douyin platform. I have been live streaming just now, and your actions have also been seen by the water friends in the live broadcast room. Hey, big brother, why are you still live streaming? How can I sell melons in the future? The melon seller looked sad after listening and couldn't help but complain. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Punish the melon selling boss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Punish the melon selling boss. If I had known today earlier, why did it have to be back then? Why didn't you consider these things and you were just doing some tricks? So, I'll give you a chance. If you smash that scale yourself and promise not to do this again in the future, I'll let you go, otherwise I won't spare you. After speaking, Lin Xiao's eyes suddenly turned cold, and an invisible pressure spread to the melon seller. He dared not hesitate for a moment, and suddenly nodded like pounding garlic. No problem. No problem. Big brother, I'll go smash it now, smash it to pieces. After speaking, he panicked and walked towards his stall, then lifted the electronic scale high and slammed it fiercely onto the ground. He smashed the electronic scale 7 or 8 times in a row, then frantically stepped on it several times with his foot, causing it to shatter and shatter to the ground. Then he quickly squeezed his smiling face and walked towards Lin Xiao. Hee hee. Big brother, look at me. I've already smashed this scale, which also represents my attitude. I will never do this kind of thing again in the future. Look. After speaking, he looked up at Lin Xiao and waited for him to speak. Okay, I see your attitude is quite cooperative. I'll let you go this time, but it's definitely not the next time, do you hear me? I heard it, I heard it. The melon seller nodded repeatedly in response. Lin Xiao's sharp eyes stared at him for a few more seconds before turning and walking away. The melon seller finally breathed a sigh of relief, but his heart was still pounding and did not slow down. By the way. Lin Xiao took 2 steps and suddenly turned his head again. Ah. What other orders do you have, big brother? The melon seller's heart suddenly rose again and he asked cautiously. Don't forget to collect the smashed garbage later. Lin Xiao pointed to the fragments of the electronic scale in the distance and explained. Okay, okay. The melon seller's mood is like riding a roller coaster, going up and down one after another, and if he continues like this, he will be scared out of heart disease. I didn't expect such a ferocious muscular man to even manage garbage picking. Subsequently, Lin Xiao turned around and walked towards the distance. Pop pop pop. Lin Xiao had just left when the onlookers reacted and applauded one after another. This person looks so scary, but what he does is quite positive. Don't forget to remind me to collect the garbage before leaving, it's so heartwarming. Well, at first I heard someone say that the melon seller did something wrong, using a remote control scale. I thought he was the owner of the melon cellar. Haha. Indeed, he looks too much like a villain. Yes, it doesn't look like a good person. A person cannot be judged by their appearance. After Lin Xiao left, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room had exceeded 800. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your popularity has reached 1000. You have obtained master-level combat skills. Master-level fighting skills. Lin Xiao was shocked in his heart. Although I don't know what level a master level can reach, fighting skills are indeed what I need. Because although I have such a fierce physique and exaggerated muscles now, I can only say that I have strength in vein, which feels a bit like a vase. If I really encounter experts, I may not be able to beat them. But now with combat skills, it's different. Being able to fully utilize muscles is like adding wings to a tiger. Lin Xiao felt countless kung fu moves emerge and rush into his mind. After feeling dizzy, he gradually recovered. He suddenly felt an itch in his heart and wished he could find someone to practice his hand immediately. However, I quickly suppressed this idea. After all, if anyone were to come and practice, my own little life would be judged. Alas, only when the right time comes can it be used. After thinking about it, Lin Xiao turned a street and said to the water enthusiast who was looking at the camera on his phone in the live broadcast room. How's it going? Brothers, now believe what I said. The barrage in the live broadcast room instantly flashed the screen. Believe it. Believe it. The anchor is amazing. I was so relieved just now. Yes, it was so great just now. Look at that melon seller's cowardly demeanor, he's too big to breathe. I suddenly feel that the anchor gives people a great sense of security. That's right, it's much more pleasing to the eye than those female cannons. I am now a loyal fan of the anchor. Many water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room started to brush up on gifts, including fairy sticks and lollipops. Thank you brothers for your support. Thank you. Lin Xiao looked at the barrage and the message of brushing gifts and thanked the camera. Although the gifts they received were not expensive, they were also a support for themselves. Let's go ahead and take a walk over there. Lin Xiao pointed to the other side of the road and then walked forward. As he walked, Lin Xiao saw many people gathered around the small square at the entrance of the mall, and laughter could be heard from time to time. Ha! There seems to be some activity ahead, let's go take a look. After finishing speaking, Lin Xiao walked over curiously. I saw a group of people surrounding a standing silicone dummy, which was 1.8 meters tall and made fist movements with both hands. There is a sign next to it that reads, 10 yuan per session, you can vent for 2 minutes. The stall owner stood next to the dummy and kept shouting to the people around him. Come on, come on. Is there anyone else who wants to play? 10 yuan each time, just kick or hit, release your stress. At this moment, a young man in his 20s took a step forward with his girlfriend and asked the boss. Boss, how is this played? It's very simple, just spend 10 yuan and then you can hit this dummy for 2 minutes at will. With so much pressure in life now, why not relax? The boss smiled and sold to the young man. The young man is about 1.8 meters tall, but his figure is relatively thin and weak. He stared at the dummy for a while, then a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes and asked the boss. If I break your dummy, who's to blame? You wouldn't want me to lose money, would you? The boss chuckled and said. No, it's made of silicone. It's very flexible and sturdy. And don't worry, just hit it casually. Even if it's damaged, it's still mine and you don't have to pay for it. When the boss finished, he gave a disdainful roast. Humph, what are you pretending to be in front of your girlfriend? With your small body, can you still break this dummy? Install B. Okay, then I can rest assured. The young man turned his neck, then took off his watch and handed it to his girlfriend next to him, saying to her. Can you help me hold it? I'm afraid I might apply too much force and break the watch strap. His girlfriend nodded and looked at him with admiration on her face. After everything was ready, the young man stood in front of the dummy, moved his wrist, jumped in place, and then made a self-proclaimed handsome gesture. The onlookers around stared at him with smiles on their faces, waiting to see his performance. Go to hell. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Giving 10 Yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Giving 10 Yuan. The young man punched fiercely and hit the dummy in the face. The posture was quite strong, but the force hitting the dummy's face was incredibly weak, and the dummy remained almost motionless. Behind the dummy is a display screen that can display the force exerted. The young man hit the dummy and the number behind kept jumping. 43 kilograms, 46 kilograms. 41 kilograms. The boss couldn't help but snort softly. Humph, just these 2 moments are still trying to break my dummy, joke. Subsequently, the young man punched the dummy like raindrops and kicked a few feet from time to time. After a meal of operation, 2 minutes quickly arrived, and the young man was exhausted, panting heavily and sweating profusely. I'm exhausted, this dummy is quite forbidden to hit. The main thing is that I dare not exert force, afraid of being damaged. The young man fiddled with his hair and then took out 10 yuan from his pocket and handed it to the boss. It's okay, brother. I told you, even if it's broken, it's okay. Do you want to stop playing for 2 more minutes and release all the pressure? The boss took the money and said to him with a smile. The young man waved his hand. No need, just give it a few hits. I'm tired. After speaking, he reached out and took his girlfriend's hand next to him, looking at her and saying. Let's go take a walk inside the mall. Well, good. Then the two walked towards the entrance of the mall. Is there anyone else who wants to play? 10 yuan for 2 minutes, let go of the pressure in your heart. After the young man left, the boss started shouting hard again. Children, do you want to play? The boss looked at a little boy who was eagerly looking ahead and asked with a smile. The little boy shook his head. Don't play, I don't have that much money. Most of the people around were watching the excitement, so no one came out to continue playing for a while. Everyone, why don't you play around? Just hit or kick it, it's okay if it's broken or broken. It's the best way to vent your anger. The boss continued to shout loudly. I play for 10 yuan. Suddenly, a loud shout echoed from behind the crowd, and they quickly turned around to look over. I saw Lin Xiao, who was 2 meters tall, wearing a vest and shorts, with high bulging muscles and a large area of terrifying tattoos, slowly walking forward with his phone in hand. Everyone was dumbfounded, staring at Lin Xiao in amazement. This aura was like a war god who had been killed from the battlefield. Lin Xiao stopped in front of the silicone dummy in the boss, and then handed him 10 yuan. The boss finally regained his senses and looked up at the terrifying image of Lin Xiao, stuttering. Big brother, I'm going to close my stall. You can come back tomorrow. This dummy is like a child in front of Lin Xiao. If you punch him, you'll have to blow him up. Are you going to close your stall? What do you mean? You were just here calling for someone to come and play. Why did I just say you wanted to close your stall when I said you wanted to play? Are you having any objections to me? Lin Xiao's fierce face leaned towards him and said coldly. The boss was so scared that he waved his hand repeatedly and said. No, big brother, don't misunderstand me. I don't mean anything else, I just want to close the stall, but if you want to play, let's play once. But you should be a little lighter, after all, this is a small business for me. The boss dare not continue to stop him from playing, for fear of angering him and directly targeting himself. Didn't you just say that if you hit it for 10 yuan or 2 minutes, you'll be the one who broke it? How come you have to be gentle with me? Lin Xiao raised his eyebrows and asked him. This. The boss thinks to himself, don't you know the reason, and don't even look at your physique. This dummy looks like a little doll in front of you. He thought so in his heart, but the boss dared not say so, so he gritted his teeth and nodded. It's okay, big brother. Then you can play. After speaking, he took the 10 yuan in Lin Xiao's hand. The onlookers around held their breath when they saw this situation, waiting to see how Lin Xiao brutally beat the dummy. It was like a real-life version of exterminating bullies and beating children. The netizens in the live broadcast room were even more excited and launched barrage comments. This scene is so exciting just thinking about it. The anchor is finally going to take action. Although it's a dummy fight, this dummy. I guess we can't even withstand the anchor's punch. I feel the same way. This dummy looks too thin and small in front of the anchor, with fists almost as big as its head. Haha. Look at the boss's expression, he's probably going to cry now. Definitely, this silicone dummy is not cheap either. Lin Xiao placed his phone aside, aimed the camera at the dummy, and then watched as the dummy turned his neck twice, making a click sound. How about finally trying out the newly acquired fighting skills? Although the opponent is relatively weak, it is still a target. After thinking about it, Lin Xiao took a step forward and suddenly, a huge rock-like fist hit the dummy's head. Bang! The moment the dummy's head made contact with Lin Xiao's fist, it suddenly deformed, and the entire upper body was folded back 90 degrees. But the flexibility of this silicone dummy is still good, so it bounced back up immediately. The power display behind the dummy exploded directly, emitting a beeping alarm sound and displaying "dot" on the screen. Sleeping slot. This is too much force, the system is directly paralyzed and cannot be displayed. Didn't you see that dummy's head was smashed and dented? The young man had been beating this dummy for half a day and it was almost motionless, but Lin Xiao made it bend down all at once. This requires so much strength. It's simply terrifying. If it were to hit a person with this one blow, it would either be fatal or crippled. This is not nonsense. After Lin Xiao punched him, he paused for a moment, followed by another set of combination punches. Bang 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 bang. The fist hit the dummy like a rainstorm, and the sound made the people around tremble. Subsequently, Lin Xiao's massive body jumped up and spun in the air, then a whirlwind kick flew directly towards the dummy's face. The dummy's head collided directly with the pillar supporting the machine behind it due to its huge inertia. With a muffled bang, the silicone dummy collided firmly with the pillar, causing it to deform and sink into a large area at the back. The boss standing next to him felt a pain in his heart. It's over. This dummy was directly rendered useless. This time it's a big loss. Immediately after, Lin Xiao made another hook punch and hit the dummy's chin. The dummy's head was instantly knocked out and rolled under the feet of the onlookers. Ah! The dummy's head landed at the feet of a girl in her 20s, scaring her into a scream. Although this is a dummy, this scene is truly terrifying. Everyone couldn't help but sweat from behind. What would happen if Lin Xiao's operation hit someone? Think carefully and be extremely afraid. They even had the illusion that they were watching a 3D blockbuster, feeling that the fierce muscular man in front of them was too unreal. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Encountering robbers on the road. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Encountering robbers on the road. Just as 2 minutes had passed, the boss quickly shouted, "Stop!" loudly. So Lin Xiao stopped and stood in place. Everyone quickly turned their gaze to the silicone dummy, realizing that it could only be described as unbearable. My head was knocked out, and my body was completely sunken. My whole body was severely deformed, and I couldn't even see the shape of a person. The boss looked at the unrecognizable silicone dummy and felt heartbroken. This is the device I spent over 5,000 yuan on the day before yesterday. Today is the second day I set up my stall, and I haven't even earned the rest of this device yet. The dummy is already broken now. Changing to a dummy would also cost a lot of money. The boss, with a crying voice, stared at the dummy and complained heartily. The water friends in the live broadcast room were instantly happy. Haha. This boss is too pitiful, isn't he? I just wanted to do some small business to make a living, and I even ran into the anchor, ahaha. But he said he can hit whatever he wants. Isn't this digging a pit for oneself, I can only say he's unlucky. Lin Xiao stopped and looked at the humanoid dummy he had beaten. He was also slightly stunned. He didn't expect that this fighting technique, combined with his explosive muscles, would be so powerful. It seems that we must converge in the future. The onlookers around had witnessed a fight scene that only appeared in movies, so they had not yet recovered from the shock and stared straight at the tattered dummy. At this moment, the boss almost collapsed on the ground, sighing helplessly, wanting to say something, but in the end he swallowed it back into his stomach. I must have gone out to set up a stall today without looking at the almanac. It's really unlucky to run into such a muscular beast. I originally wanted to start a business and make money, but now it's a good thing. Not only did I not make any money, but also a few thousand yuan went down the drain. Otherwise, entrepreneurship carries risks. In the future, it's better to honestly find a class. Suddenly, a stack of brand new banknotes appeared in front of the boss, who was slightly stunned and looked up. I saw Lin Xiao, who was like a tyrant, holding a stack of money and handing it to me. What are you doing here? The boss looked at Lin Xiao in surprise and asked. Lin Xiao squeezed out a stiff smile and said to the boss. Boss, I'm really sorry. I'll confiscate it for a while and make the dummy look like this for you. I'll give you these 2,000 yuan to reduce your losses. The boss didn't know what to say for a moment, because he never expected this bully-like man to compensate him. After being stunned for 2 seconds, the boss waved his hand somewhat awkwardly. No need, I said it myself. If it's damaged, there's no need to compensate. I don't blame you. Oh my, why are you such a fussy woman? Just take it with you. After speaking, Lin Xiao rudely stuffed the money into the boss's hand, then turned around and walked back. These 2,000 yuan were given to him by his wife when he went out, fearing that he would use the money as a backup fund. I have already spent 2,000 directly now, but in terms of live streaming results, I have already earned back, and this money must be given. The onlookers behind saw Lin Xiao walking over and quickly made way for him, fearing that someone might accidentally provoke this evil god. The scene where Lin Xiao punched and attacked them just now is vivid in their minds and cannot be erased. It is really shocking. I guess I have to dream about this scene even when I sleep at night. The boss looked at Lin Xiao's broad back and was lost in thought. After Lin Xiao walked out of the small square, he said to the camera with his phone. Brothers, although the boss just said that there's no need to compensate for the damage, he's also in a small business and it's not easy to make a living, so I have to give him this money. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, the barrage in the live broadcast room went straight to the screen and everyone started scrolling through gifts. Anchor, your actions are amazing. You're so heartwarming. It's really not easy to make a living, give the anchor a thumbs up. Positive energy anchor, follow me. The anchor is so cute. I'm getting to love the anchor more and more. Are you sure the anchor calls this cute? You can't use adjectives randomly. Do I think the anchor is very handsome? He has a strong masculine personality, and in the future, I will also find a boyfriend like this. Sister upstairs, please pay attention, your saliva is flowing down. Lin Xiao walked forward as he spoke, constantly recalling what had just happened in his mind. Ah! Robbed. Someone robbed. Suddenly, a mournful female cry shattered the tranquility of the street. Lin Xiao and the water friends in the live broadcast room were both stunned. What is the situation? Who dares to rob in broad daylight? It seems that I have a chance to use my fighting skills. As soon as Lin Xiao thought of the opportunity to show off, he couldn't help but feel excited. So he quickly turned his gaze towards the direction of the sound coming from. Stubborn. A sound of motorcycles came from over there, and two men wearing leather jackets and black helmets were riding motorcycles rapidly towards this side. The man sitting in the back seat is holding a woman's backpack in his arms. There was also a woman in her 40s behind them, anxiously waving at them. The shout just now must have been from her. At this moment, there were also some passers-by around. Due to the sudden incident, they all stopped and turned to look at the speeding motorcycle. Get out of here. Get out of here. The man in the back seat took out a long knife from his arms with his right hand and shouted at the passers-by on the street. Seeing that he had a weapon in his hand, some people who had originally intended to act bravely gave up on this idea. The speed of the motorcycle is very fast, and it is about to gallop past and disappear on the street. When Lin Xiao realized it, the motorcycle had already passed by him and darted out 2 or 3 meters. Lin Xiao dared not hesitate at all. There happened to be a well at his feet, so he suddenly bent down and grabbed the small eye of the well cover with one finger. Instantly, he forcefully pulled up and directly lifted the manhole cover, holding it in his hand. Subsequently, Lin Xiao aimed in the direction of the motorcycle and threw it fiercely towards it. The circular-shaped manhole cover spun rapidly in the air, flying towards the motorcycle of the two people. With a bang, the manhole cover hit the back wheel of the motorcycle directly while running at high speed, causing the motorcycle to lose balance and roll over to the right. The two people on the motorcycle naturally fell to the ground and slid for a distance on the ground. Sleeping trough. Bull batch. You threw it so accurately. How could such a heavy manhole cover be thrown out so far? Is the anchor still human? That move just now was so handsome. I grabbed it from the ground and threw it out directly, handsome. These two stupid thieves are just hitting the gun barrel. The anchor is worried that no one will take action, they're unlucky. At the moment Lin Xiao threw the motorcycle, the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room launched a barrage crazily. Sleeping trough. Who dares to meddle in his own business without looking at me? Let me see if I can harm you. The man sitting in the back seat with a knife struggled to stand up from the ground, rubbing his waist with one hand and cursing fiercely. The other man quickly ran towards the motorcycle lying on the side after getting up, wanting to get on the car and run away quickly. Lin Xiaoming sprinted over and instantly arrived in front of the motorcycle. He kicked the motorcycle and flew it 6 or 7 meters away. The bandit who was about to get on the motorcycle couldn't help but curse loudly and turned his head to see who dared to meddle. End of this chapter. Did hallucinations occur in Chapter 10? There is such a person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Did hallucinations occur in Chapter 10? There is such a person. When the bandit turned around, he was completely stunned. A man with a body shaped like an ancient demon god is glaring angrily at himself. He even thought he had hallucinations due to being too nervous about robbery. Or maybe I've been watching too many small movies lately. So he rubbed his eyes hard and looked at Lin Xiao again. Lying trough. Still hasn't changed. That is to say, he's not an illusion, is he just like this? There are actually people like this in the world. The bandit looked at Lin Xiao and trembled all over. The bandit with the knife also stood up and looked over here. When he saw Lin Xiao's massive body, he was also slightly stunned. But now it's still robbery, the situation is urgent, he can't care so much anymore. So he quickly shouted at the other bandits who were still staring. "Mouse, what are you still doing in a daze? Hurry up and hit him." The bandit called the mouse nodded hastily and agreed after he finished speaking. Ah, okay. Later, he looked up at Lin Xiao. Although he was wearing a helmet, he could also feel the fear on his face. "How can we get started?" He looked at Lin Xiao, who was almost 2 heads taller than himself and had a body size like a fierce beast. In front of him, he was like a primary school student. "Damn it, don't hesitate. Hurry up." The bandit with a knife was stronger than a mouse in body. Seeing that the mouse dared not move, he rushed forward with a knife and stabbed Lin Xiao's chest directly. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room couldn't help but take a cold breath as they watched this scene. "Lie down. This makes the dog jump over the wall in a hurry. Just take a knife. Damn it, this is a bandit. He wants the anchor's life. Anchor, you have to be careful. Don't worry. Just his small arms and legs won't hurt the anchor." Lin Xiao looked at the rushing bandits with a cold gaze, and put the phone in his hand into his pocket first. The water friends in the live broadcast room suddenly lost their sight. Some water enthusiasts couldn't help but worry, while others believed that these 2 little thieves couldn't possibly harm Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao looked at the dagger getting closer and closer to him, without any movement, silently staring coldly. "Go to hell." When Lin Xiao was still 2 steps away, the bandit fiercely stabbed out the dagger. Suddenly, Lin Xiao moved, his massive body quickly retreating 1 step back, and his right foot suddenly kicked out, directly towards his hand holding a dagger. Ah! The bandit let out a painful scream, and the dagger flew out and fiercely plunged into the wall by the roadside. The bandit held the right hand holding the dagger, in agony, feeling like the bones were about to break. Lin Xiao didn't give him a chance to react and kicked him fiercely in the stomach. However, Lin Xiao deliberately adjusted the angle of his foot to kick towards him with the sole of his foot, and collected some strength. Otherwise, if he kicked it with his toes, he would have directly broken his intestines. In just 3 seconds, Lin Xiao's movements were completed in one go. To the onlookers, it was just an instant, and the bandit was kicked out directly. Ouch! His helmet also flew out and he lay on the ground, groaning in pain, feeling like his whole body was about to fall apart. The other bandit mouse dared not go up again when he saw this situation, glanced at the nearby path, and directly rubbed his feet with oil to drill towards that path. "Want to run?" Lin Xiao let out a loud shout and chased after him fiercely. I thought he would run slowly with such a large physique, but perhaps due to his well-developed leg muscles, his speed is not slower than that of an ordinary person. Due to the excessive fright of the mouse, his legs became weak and he ran unsteadily, even falling. Lin Xiao caught up directly, grabbed his clothes behind him, lifted him up, like picking up a little chick, and then threw it back fiercely. With a thud, the bandit was thrown by Lin Xiao like a bundle to the side of another bandit 10 meters away. Ouch! Oh, hello! 2 bandits collapsed together, curled up and moaning incessantly. Lin Xiao strode over and crouched down, staring at them with fierce eyes. "Young and inexperienced, robbing. Where are you running? Big brother, no, big brother. We're really a first-time offender, so please spare us and let us go. We won't dare again next time. How dare there be another time? Didn't you just stab me with a knife? Ha!" Lin Xiao patted the face of the bandit and said fiercely. "You. If you don't remember being a petty person, just let us go." "Yeah, let us go, we won't dare again in the future." The 2 bandits begged Lin Xiao with every word you said. "I can't do this anymore. Your behavior just now was robbery." Lin Xiao snorted coldly, then turned around to look at the passers-by next to him and asked. "Have you BJ'd yet?" Ah. Yes, BJ. Quick BJ. Due to the fact that what happened just now only happened in a short period of time, some passers-by had not even figured out what was going on, and the bandits had already been subdued by Lin Xiao. So they still looked confused and didn't react. Upon hearing Lin Xiao say BJ, they finally came to their senses and took out their phones to make a call. Upon hearing BJ, the two bandits became even more panicked and begged repeatedly. Lin Xiao ignored them directly, took out his phone from his pocket, and resumed the live broadcast. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room kept discussing possible situations during the black screen period. After the screen lit up, they immediately launched a barrage. Here. Here. The anchor has opened the screen, indicating that he is not in danger. Maybe he was stabbed, let's help fight 120. That's impossible. Dealing with them by the anchor is not a piece of cake. Don't let anything happen to the anchor. It's hard to find a favorite anchor. While water enthusiasts were frantically discussing bullet comments, Lin Xiao's heinous face suddenly appeared in the live broadcast room. Brothers, don't worry about me. I'm fine, the bandits have already been subdued by me. Subsequently, Lin Xiao directed the camera towards the two bandits lying on the ground in agony. Haha. I'll just say it. You can tell by their physique, these two people playing as anchors is probably like scratching an itch. In less than 2 minutes, the bandits are like this. The anchor is amazing. Look at that bandit's hands, they are swollen like Mantu. Sleeping trough. I just saw it, this is too exaggerated, isn't it? I guess it's a comminuted fracture. My cousin's leg was like this before. It's okay, that person stabbed the anchor with a knife. This is legitimate defense, anchor. Big brother, don't take pictures of me. How can we be human from now on? A bandit covered his face and begged Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao's eyes widened, he patted his head, and said. You still know how embarrassing. Why didn't you think that way during the robbery? You deserve your family. End of this chapter.